I've been able to make things, any kind of content videos. It's just kind of hard because, you know, to my subscribers, you've seen I've pretty much made anything you can possibly make, how-tos, whatever. We got a good one for you today, and you're going to learn a lot of things and some things I've learned about. So we're going to talk about how I got my anchor and 50 feet of anchor rope sucked into my intake. Again, these things are giant vacuums, so I always shut the WaveRunner off and then let the anchor go over the side. You've probably seen some of my videos. This time I decided to keep it running because I kept turning it on, turning it off, and I didn't want the battery to die, so I wanted to have a little bit of a charge. So it's running, and we're letting the anchor go over the side. And of course my son's with me on the back. After about a minute, the battery started flashing from 14 volts to 0 volts, and then it stalled. I kept trying to turn it back on, and the check engine light would come on, and it was very loud. So at that point, I took my whistle, and what you're supposed to do is blow 5 times if there's any kind of a boat near you. There was one about 550 yards away. Us Marines measure everything in distance in yards. So there was a boat about 550 yards away. I kept blowing the whistle in a cadence of 5, which is what you're supposed to do. Eventually they saw, they came, hooked up a tow rope to tow us back. And I went to retrieve my anchor, and everything was really tight. So I thought the anchor was caught on something. I cut the rope thinking it would free the anchor. And then realized because there was a piece of rope hanging off the back, that things got sucked into the intake. That made me nervous because I've never had that happen before. Tows us back to shore. So we get back. I get this thing on the trailer. So now that it's on a trailer, I can look underneath it. Well, turns out my intake drive shaft was operating like a winch and just kept grabbing and pulling until the anchor itself just... On the trailer, I saw that the anchor itself, you'll see in a minute, was caught in between the trailer and the pump skid plate, if you will. So the anchor itself is caught in between the bottom of the WaveRunner and here, so we got to jack it up to get it out. How did I do this? I had the engine running while I was letting the anchor down. And these things are giant vacuums, and it just sucked it into the pump. So we decided to do a MacGyverism here and jack up the unit to get the anchor out. So it's my truck jack. All right, so we also had to, at least we get to save our anchor. So I'm gonna try to get some of this rope out of here. So after this, we get home, and here's where we're at. You can see the pictures here. 50 feet of rope wrapped around that drive shaft. And it was tight. The only thing I can tell you is you're gonna have to keep cutting, scissoring, pulling with pliers, cut, pull, in order to get all the rope out. It worked. So my concern was that I broke something, drive shaft, motor, whatever the case is. So once all the rope was out, I fired this thing up. Check engine light was still on. Holy crap, it worked. We got everything out. It's fired up. It's still alive. If you ever have an error code, check engine light, battery light, whatever the case is, the only way to clear it is to keep cycling on and off. I don't mean like shut it off, turn it on, shut it off, turn it on. Do it properly, you know, hook the hose up, don't turn it on, start the unit, turn the hose on. It'll just keep beeping your check engine light or your error code. Then turn the water off, then shut the unit off, and repeat that cycle. And it took like 3 times, check engine light stopped. So it worked. I didn't break anything. But now I had to take the intake grate off, obviously, to get the rope. It won't go back on. You can see the slots on the grate. You would think it would just slide back in to the rubber gasket slots. No. The only thing you can do is remove the other skid plate. Then just place your seal back on your intake grate, put the intake grate on first, and then put your skid plate back on. So we learned a couple things here today. Don't cast an anchor with the engine running. This video also shows how to remove and reinstall your intake grate, and then the problems associated with it where you have to take off the other skid plate. Little safety thing, blowing your whistle 5 times, 5 blows a piece until someone can help you out. And then we learned how to clear our codes if you ever have a battery check engine light code. So I hope this helps. Again, I'll keep trying to make things. Appreciate all the subscribers. I'm going to keep trying to make more stuff. The only other thing I can think of doing, unless something like this happens, is to make videos of me and my son fishing, catching fish, and driving real fast. I don't know. I'll think about it. Have you ever, any of you who own a WaveRunner, have you ever had anything caught in your intake? How did you fix it? And were you successful, and did everything work after that? I'm just curious to see if anyone else has had this happen before. Semper Fi. Yeah.
Those Mac 10s will not reach the street.